Yes, to hear about any new projects. We thank you so much for your attention and affection over the years. What the fuck does this mean? A poet at large? I'm looking that up. What is a poet at large? Poet at large. What is a poet at large? What does that mean? What does that mean? To a poet at large? Sounds like you just leeching. Poet at large sounds like you just leeching. Honest to God, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like you just leeching. Why are you guys talking about their weight? What does that even mean? Poet at large. Oh, they're large. Okay, guys, come on, stop. Stop. Now let us read Nathan's response. Yes, Nathan's response. I'm trying to produce a more formal statement about it, but bottom line is, I screwed up badly and... Oh my god. Fuck you, dude. You did one Sigma thing in your life, and now you're gonna fucking backtrack and apologize? Some people to leave and moving as a... Well, Nathan, you tyrant. This issue of subscription numbers is completely incidental. You only care about money, you greedy bastard. The truth is that as the poet at large, I could conjure a replacement for those subscribers out of the aether by the use of poetry. And as the poet at large, I will do such a thing. Oh, how the wishing wells dry with the need, or just 3 wishes into the bank. Throw a coin into the mountain and see what shall come. Nathan's trying to pay the bills and he can't pay the bills because they're not making enough money. And the poet at large is at large, just twirling around him and wishing because she's at large. You understand? She's the poet at large, okay? And she's been at large, infamously at large, you know? Partly as a result, the organization developed into a kind of messy structuralness. Thank you, Voidburn.
Voidborn donated $5. Lamau, I'm geeked, bro. Here's $5 for the free poetry.
Thank you, Voidburn. It's not just poetry, it's poetry from the poet at large. The disorganized chaos and slowly bureaucratized KN to oblivion. Dude, anarchists make the best dictators. Mussolini was like a fucking anarchist beforehand, you know that? Anarchists make the best dictators. Nathan's gonna make sure the trains run on time. I'll tell you that. Nathan's gonna make sure those trains run on time. I promise you that. This is literally like what a fascist... This is literally what the Nazis were saying to justify their seizure of power. There was disorganized chaos! No, this is literally how Mussolini justified the March on Rome. There was a disorganized chaos. There was a bureaucratization, inefficiency, lack of action, the poking shop of the parliament. And I took power for myself. And I made it for myself. And I got the trains on time. Someone had to do it. This is literally what's going on. You know what I mean? Literally, that's... And look, if we just were honest about the reality that we need to have authority and structure and organization, you would avoid the 2 extremes. You understand? You would avoid the extreme of anarchy and you would avoid the extreme of fascism, right? You would avoid the extremes. But these people have to go to the extremes, you know? The structure in this problem. I am not sure my position on this was defensible, It might have been deeply hypocritical and wrong and selfish, but I will at least explain how I felt. Since starting current affairs, I have resisted making current affairs owned by staff, not because I want to own it myself, because I don't want it to be owned at all. I wanted to operate as a not for profit institution that does not belong to particular people. This is literally what Pol Pot said. This is like Pol Pot, dude. Pol Pot's like, I don't want anyone to be the leader, so I have to be the leader, so no one's the leader, you know? That's why they didn't even name the party, the Anka party, you know? This is the most hilarious thing I ever said. I don't want anyone to own it, so I have to own it so no one owns it. Because I don't trust the masses to not.
Paperwin donated $5. Bravo us.
Thank
Bravo.
you, Paperwin. Dude, he perfectly describes how dictatorship is the only... He literally described why fascism and anarchism are the same thing. I'll tell you why. Because if you want to be an anarchist, you're eventually you can't trust the people who believe in your ideals of anarchy. So you have to be an anarchist dictator who enforces the anarchist ideals, because you can't trust the people themselves to agree with them. You know what I mean? Think about it. It's literally true. It was hard to feel like I was slowly having my ability to run it in my way taken away. You know what's funny? Like, we don't notice anything. Like, Current Affairs is just a dog shit magazine filled with dog shit articles, dog shit opinions and ideas. And it's always been that way. Like, what differences are we talking about? Like, for example, like, what does the homepage look like? Like, what do they actually argue about? What do they argue about in this fucking magazine? Is there anything else about this before I talk about something else? There's the Vice News article. They're just paraphrasing the okay. This reminded me of some shit. I want us to talk about this. I want you guys to be on the lookout for something. Something I predict is going to be a thing in the very near future. Okay? You want to know what it is? Fascism. Actual fascism in America. A lot of people say, oh yeah, neocons aren't fascist. Yes, they are. I mean, they're not yet. But neocon ideology,
I'm beginning to see an infrared vision,
taken to its logical conclusion, is fascistic. And I want you to pay attention to a singularity that's going to emerge. AOC, woke, plus neocons. When these three merge, you will have American fascism. DSA, AOC people, woke people, and neocons. Them three together, that's where fascism will come from in America. I promise you. I swear to you, I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. Look, fascism in America may not even be racial. It probably won't be racial. It'll probably be like woke and like, oh, we don't believe in racism. But you know what it's going to be? Militaristic. It's going to be militaristic. It's going to be militaristic. It probably won't even be socially reactionary or culturally reactionary, right? But it will be rabidly militaristic, and it will be civilizationally racist. It won't dehumanize people within this country per se. It probably will. But it will dehumanize Russians. It will dehumanize Chinese people. It will dehumanize America's enemies as like backward savages who are not socially progressive as us, you know? I wanted to talk more about that today, but like we ran out of time. We saved the best for last. But We already have that? Well, yeah, it's emerging. It's definitely emerging. But watch, what do they call it? Watch this. What do they say? Watch this corner, whatever that fucking means. Watch that spot. Watch it. We'll have the Christian cross. No, it won't. It'll be atheist. It will not be Christian. Watch this space. Yeah, watch this space. Watch this space. Listen, fascism comes from the vanity of false expectations. Fascists go, we had the expectation of anarchism, but it didn't work. And now we have to be dictators. Well, you had a false expectation, and you have the passion of a false expectation. The failure of liberalism, the failure of democratic liberalism, the failure of those things. It's the passion of the failure of these, okay? And that's where fascism comes from.